So what is going on today? I lost $21,649 and I posted this on my Instagram, on my Twitter, on the new Instagram Thread app that just came out. So the reason why I'm actually making this video is the biggest reason of all is not a lot of people, especially who are in the trading community, share their losses or their lessons or their mistakes because they just want to try to be the perfect individual. I don't know, I never understood that. But every time I have had a loss, I have had lost in the past. I've always made a YouTube video or posted on my Instagram or somewhere. I tried to share what I learned from that, because what I learned from my losses, because I'm at a level where my losses are usually very big, so there's a lot of actually lessons to be learned from those losses, because at the end of the day, I'm still a human being. Doesn't matter how long I've been trading, doesn't matter how much profit I have made over the years, but I'm still a human being who has emotions, and sometimes the emotions get the best of you and the market gets the best of you. So this was the actual big reason why I wanted to make the video. There are two big reasons why I use any social media. One, I want to help people along the way as I grow. Second, I'm documenting the process, the day, the time, the year, whenever it is, 20 years from now, 10 years from now, whenever it is, the day when I'm worth $100 million. I want to go back and look at this stuff and be like, this is how it all started. And this is a part of the process, and it is what it is. You learn the lessons along the way and you keep going further and further. But anyway, let's talk about the trade, the reasoning, what caused the emotions, and what happened. So this is Tesla today. I took a trade on AMD this morning. There was like 50% trade, but let's forget all that stuff now. Just talk about the Tesla trade that costed me over $22,000, and I was already green on AMD, but this costed me over $22,000. So we'll talk about this trade, okay? The reasoning why I entered this trade at first place was, what was that? First, let's talk about actually what I was watching, why I was watching it at first place. So this was Tesla in the pre-market as I saw, and I sent a little message to my team in the pre-market webinar that we do every single day. I told everybody that, okay, gang, I am looking for, this is how we trade every day, and I make a game plan on the pre-market webinar. I sent a thing out that I'm looking for Tesla reject of 280. Now let's look at why I was looking for a reject of 280. Now there was this trend line forming on the bottom, right? Just look at this trend line for a minute. There was one touch right here, second roughly, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th one was here, and 11th touch it broke. Okay, so this was when it actually broke, and this is when it actually broke. So there were so many touches on this white trend line that it was a strong critical level that we had to watch for the day. Alright, so let's look at where the actual 280 came from. So what happened was, I went on a 5-minute chart. After I drew my trend line on a 15-minute chart, I realized, okay, where did it bounce this pre-market? It was bouncing off this little zone right here, and I made this zone. It's bouncing or rejecting, or it's being critical zone of bounces and bounces and bounces over and over again. This 280, 279.5 to 280, and then I scrolled back a little bit, so 280 was holding really well. So I'm like, okay, you know what, let's look at 280, and around that 280, around this 930 mark, prices will also be, this is how the market was about to open. So I was like, you know what, there's a trend line that broke from the top, and let's look at 280 for a reject for the day. And that's how we came up with the plan in the first place. Now let's look at how and what happened. Okay, now the market's about to open. What we did, we made our plan, ready to go, kill the fucking trade. Everything's ready to go. So we made a plan, and now the time had come and we had to execute, right? So what happened? Market opened. I'll go on a 1-minute chart to quickly explain what happened. Okay, so I was looking for a reject of this yellow line. Market opened. This is where the market opened. This is the yellow line I'm taking, looking for a reject. I want to get into puts there. It went, touched my level right there. You see this? It went, touched my level, and it made a big move lower, went from 280 down to whatever number it went down to. Right? It made a huge move lower, and I missed this whole move because it was in AMD. Now AMD still paid me, but this was the point. I will be very honest with you. This was the point when I was trading. I was still in AMD. I was up 50% on AMD. But somewhere on the back of my mind, I was upset that why didn't I trade Tesla? Now usually on a given day I would not care because I am in the trade and I'm already taking trades and I'm already winning, so I would not care. But today somehow my emotions were all over the place. I had a little bit of headache in the pre-market and you know, my emotions all over the place as soon as this happened, and I'm like, I should have traded Tesla, man. I am good at trading Tesla. I should have traded Tesla. I told myself this, that I'm good at trading Tesla. I should have traded Tesla. That should have been the red flag for me to know that okay, I am prone to making some mistake. Now anyway, I made this mistake. I told myself whatever, I missed this trade. I wasn't that excited about taking a 50% profit on AMD. Then I was upset more about missing this trade out on Tesla. Now the next trade that I wanted to take on this was Tesla was forming this little flag on the bottom, and I told everybody I was on the live call. Now I could have put the recordings of the live Zoom call, but the recording is so long and I don't want this video to become a 30-minute long video because I'm actually breaking down slowly. You get the point. I wanted to catch this break of the flag. The reasoning, Tesla already started a downtrend, not in the pre-market only, but Tesla started because it gapped down, then it started like look at this. What is it making? It's making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. The trend had already picked up. Right, so this was a huge flag that I wanted to catch toward the downside, and this flag was formed. And if I go on a quickly 60-minute chart to show you something, or I'll go on a quickly daily candle to show you something, this Tesla right here had a gap from this other day from 264.5 to all the way up to 275-ish. Okay, so Tesla had this big gap that was waiting to be filled. So I was watching this, but for some reason, again, my emotions were all over the place. For some reason, I was looking at this. I had my contract ready to go, but for some reason, I didn't execute. I have no idea why that happened. I have to go back to my Zoom recordings and I have to re-listen to what I was saying, the reasoning. But from what I recall is at that given time, I was like, maybe let it come back, retest. It already consolidated so much before my level break. I was watching the flag, it was already in a downtrend, and I was like, man, I really want to catch this, but let's hold this for a minute, 1 second, and let's see if it comes back, retest. So I did an enter, and this is what happened on Tesla. Boom, it made such a huge move, went from 276.5 to 273.5. Now mind me not, this morning I missed a $4 move, nearly $3 move, $4 move on Tesla. Now again I missed another $3 move in front of my eyes. Now my emotions were like, they were at the next level, they were at the peak. And now I want to keep it real with you. I don't want to just go, oh, you know, I don't get emotions. Of course I get emotions, because nobody loves to miss out on 30, 40, $50,000, right? Usually I would not think that way, but today I was not at the right place. I was not operating from my, you know, usually what I would operate from my capacity. So it was a little all over the place. Anyway, so I missed this move again, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, man, what the heck am I doing? What the fuck is wrong with me? Why I am not pulling the trigger? Why I am being a little pushy, right? And the moment I told myself this, I already know that I'm very, very prone to make a mistake now, because I knew in the past when I had this thought, I have made a mistake. I told myself, don't make this mistake, and I just ignored him, like, nah, I know what I'm doing. So I got clouded because my past successes, and I forgot that this trade matters more than everything that I have done before, right? So what happened here? The candle closed like this. Next candle went a little bit more lower, and then it pulled back. Okay, it pulled back. Let's see how it goes. Now I roughly entered around this price point. Why I entered, I don't know. I'm keeping it real, I don't know. I told myself that it can reject from 274.5 to 275. The reasoning why I said 274.5 to 275, I don't know. On the back of my mind, I didn't want to miss the next move. right? So I entered here again. I entered here. This is the first time I'm trading Tesla for the day now. I entered here. It moved lower. I was up like 10%, 20%, whatever the number was. I don't remember, but I was up a little bit. Didn't sell. Why? Because I'm thinking of now that it is going to fill this gap. It's gonna go down all the way down to this level already because of these volumes, insane volumes. It is going down all the way down to fill this gap. Now, if you think about it, what's happening here? Now, I'm not operating from what the market is showing me. I'm operating from what I think can happen in the market. So what's happening here? I'm acting on what I think rather than reacting on what the market can do. Alright, or reacting on what the market is doing. I'm acting on what I think can happen. That's why I ended. Another mistake, right? Another big mistake. So what happened there? Big mistake. I entered normal size. I wasn't heavy size. As it started pushing against me, I started being a little bit more, let me add more because I can buy it a little bit more cheaper now, as long as it holds this 8 EMA. This green line is 8 EMA. I use 8 EMA to tell me the trend. This is 8 EMA. So okay, as long as it holds below the 8 EMA, I will keep adding. That was a mistake that I made. Otherwise, everything was emotional. Yes, no problem. But technical mistake was no technical mistake. This was a technical mistake where I kept adding to my position size. Originally, I started off with roughly around $10,000-ish position size, and that's not insanely high position size for me. I trade that every day. But now I was adding another 10 grand, another 10,000, another 10,000, another 10,000. So I was adding heavy into this position as it was going against me right here, and then it came to a point where it's like still sitting under this 8 EMA. So far everything is good. Like emotionally, I made couple mistakes, but I didn't let those emotional mistakes to get in the way. Only emotional mistake that took in the way was this little mistake where I entered a little bit early. This was more likely a technical mistake because I'm adding to my losers here, right? And it rejected. Now, you know what I was doing at that stage? I was simply going on my trend lines, and I was drawing trend lines on what I wanted to see. I was like this, I was like this. This is what I wanted to see. I wanted the market to show me what I wanted to see. That's why these lines in the middle of fucking nowhere, that's what I was doing, right? Now what happened? Prices moved lower, and I'm like, okay, sweet, it can break this 274, and it did broke this 274 for a minute or two. I'm like, okay, sweet, all right, that's good. Alright, but now my stop loss was above this price point right here, the previous low. Now my stop loss was sitting right here above this previous low, previous high, or whatever you want to call it, right? So my stop loss was sitting right here. The moment it got hit, I was like, I am going to get out, because now at this stage I was down like $10,000-$15,000. My brain was like, I don't know if I can explain to you. My watch sent me a warning. My heartbeat was 150. I posted that on my Instagram threads as well. My heartbeat was 150, and I took my watch off and I put it on the table because my watch was sending me warnings. So it was legit. At this stage I was like fully into it, right? Because the moment when your actual watch starts telling you take it easy, it becomes a little bit more like very hectic. So I was like, okay, you know what, the best thing that I can do right now is take my loss the moment it goes to that level, is to get out. And this is exactly what happened on the next candle. Didn't want this, I'll be honest. If I got a 1 minute chart, I didn't want this, but the volume was insane. I was like, you know what, man, it's okay, it's okay, let me get out. Now it took me roughly around 2 minutes or 3 minutes to get out of my full position, because I was in a heavy size. I was very heavy size. I was like nearly $100,000 into this trade on contract, option contracts, same week expiration. I was heavy size. So there were a few mistakes that I made. So one of the best things that I actually did for the day was I told myself, this is my stop loss. The moment my stop loss got hit, I got out. It took me a minute or two to get out, but I got out the moment my stop loss hit. If I would not have gotten out the moment my stop loss would have hit, I would have been down big heavy for the day, or maybe I would have been down big and heavy for the day, because if you look at the price, this is what the price is doing right now. So I'm happy that I respected my plan. I'm not happy that I let emotions take over. I'm happy that this was a beautiful I'm happy that this was a trade that taught me a few lessons, but I'm not happy that I lost 20,000. I think it's just a number that you give yourself, and if I have to give myself a rating, I think it's just a number that you give yourself. Of course, 20,000, the amount of money that I made for the year already is not a lot of money, but still 20,000 is 20 G. 20 G is 20 G's, right? So the rating that I would give to this trade is maybe 3 out of 10. The 3 is only because I actually had discipline to sell my loss and be like, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna revenge trade, and I walked away straight away. So the reason why I'm actually making this video at first place is I feel like if you're somebody who is in the trading space and you operate social media page and you're posting your wins every day, and the day you have a loss and you don't post anything, or you know, whatever reason you tell yourself, or you now make a YouTube video or whatever it is, I think you should do it. There are a few people who do it and I respect them a lot, but people who don't, it's just like the bad vibe that goes into the whole industry. So I hope you learned a thing or two from this. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below, and make sure you throw a thumbs up to this video because I need that. Why not? And if you're new to the channel, maybe think about subscribing, because why not? There's so much value on this page. Why not? And until next time, look after yourself.